Hello, good people of the interwebs. This is the second take, by the way. This article was sent to me by Sheena earlier. And oh boy, I have some quality words for this. Even more so than the first time I actually did this. I stopped on the first time because Flash just went yeah on me. So I basically stopped. So this is the second take of this video, in which we all remember when we were growing up. Back before we had the PS4 and the Xbox negative 359 and the Wii U. Back when we had the good old days. We had the Sega Master System, Game Boy, Game Gear, Nintendo's, Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and of course the Sega CD, among many other things that were quite memorable of said generation. But do you remember how bad some of the games were? Do you remember how bad some of the games were that you really didn't look at the box art? You just went by the game and you said, "Oh, this is cool," and just put in there. Now, some games are like that, but other games aren't like that. Some games aren't so. Some games just define the definition of what the fuck, and then there are some that just say why. We're going to go through some of these, and of course, I'm also going to add to the flavor that we went through a lot. We went through a lot of these in LP format as well. So let's look at this article about hilariously bad video game box art because why? Why not? While we don't spend much time perusing the aisles of video game stores anymore, thanks to native gaming, we certainly appreciate all the hard work that goes into crafting the tempting images on retail boxes. Sometimes, though, hard work takes a back seat to bad ideas. We're not sure how disastrous pieces of video game box art made it to store shelves, but they did, and for that we're thankful, because they're hilarious. There are 10 of them, so we are going to go through every freaking one of them. And then we're going to go over the game facts for even more hilarity. Okay, starting with number 1 out of 10, which is just begging me to rip it a new one. Number 1, Tongue of the Fat Man. It gets points for clarity. That is his mouth, yes, sir. But the whole fake nostril eyeballs thing probably wasn't the best idea to convey the intensity of this one-on-one fighting game. If you've ever played this game, my God, man, why? Why would you torment yourself through all that? Don't consider yourself Big Fat Plus if you're going to torment yourself through a bad game. That, my friends, is a bad game. Tongue of the Fat Man is based off an Amiga game, and it's done by Activision. It's a fighting game, and yes, even though I said it again, this is a game that I would think Big Fat Plus would cringe at. Because it's that terrible. Think about the it's like the precursor to Shaq Fu, where all you're doing is mashing buttons. You're not doing Street Fighter. You're not doing Street Fighter type moves or anything. You're mashing buttons. You're jumping, you're jumping, you're hitting, you're trying to hit, you're trying to make something happen, and boom, you're dead. Oh, because your opponent is much more skilled than you are at hitting than you are. Because it's tongue of the fat man, and it's really stupid. Moving on. Yes, number 2, Night Trap. Night Trap features scantily clad co-eds fighting vampires at a slumber party. That part was controversial, but the real crime was this insane box art. Don't hit me, Glory Dana Plato. Back when she was alive. I'm pretty sure what she did was you look at this box art and you see these 3 vampires, and I never pointed this out in the first take of this video, but if you look at it, she says it looks like she's saying, "Look at this shit! Look at this shit! It's over 1.5 hours of full motion video! Look at this shit!" I don't see myself playing Night Trap anytime too soon. Night Trap is one of those games which, you have to be like on coffee to actually get past this game. Because you have to go like boom, 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 boom. You have to really just go boom, 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 boom. You have to just basically keep an eye on everything. I mean, it can be done, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get my eyes twitches like that. You must be out your goddamn mind. Night Trap, y'all. And they plan to make a remake of it, or possibly, make it a comeback. It's going to be quite difficult if they do make a remake of Night Trap. Because that's a whole lot of work right there. And look at the faces of those, look at the faces on these these vampires, man. It's like, hello, 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 hello. Moving on. Oh, dear God. Number 3 of 10. And if we've ever owned a copy of it, we have owned a copy of it in some fashion or form. We have owned a copy of Mega Man 1. Just look at that horrendous box art. Look at that horrendous box art. If there was indeed a time in which I wanted a zoom in on this, I would have it. I would have it on this box art alone. This box art alone. I'm telling you, this box art alone. Where's Mega Man? Florida? I'm sorry, Big. I am so sorry, but oh God. I'm oh God. Hey, Inafune, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. My apologies, sir. My apologies. Where's Mega Man? Florida? That sure as hell better not be Wabash. I'm going to tell you that right now. Are those giant screws? What happened to his eyeballs? Why is he holding a gun? He's Mega Man. His arm is a cannon. Legs don't go like that. You look at that face. It looks like Mega Man is going to cop a squat anytime too soon. And on top of that, you look at Mega Man. This is not Mega Man. Remember, and most of you remember when they did Mega Man 9 and 10, just like they did with the classic box art. They did the box art exactly like Mega Man 1 was. Completely and utterly terrible. Because number 9 looked like something that could be considered nightmare fuel. Number 10, I don't know what the fuck was up with number 10 either. But if you remember Mega Man, and you remember the horrendous box art. Okay, first off, another thing I haven't mentioned in the first video, but I'm mentioning it on the second take now. Look at how he's holding the gun. Okay, first off, if you're holding a gun, your gun should be, it shouldn't be this way. It should be dead ahead. Or at least if you're looking that way, your gun should be where you're looking. I mean, you look at something like this. This dude looked like he came out of Tron. This is not Mega Man. This looked like some guy that came out of Tron. And I'm pretty damn sure Mega Man did not have any goggles on. I mean, he didn't, not goggles, a visor. He never wore a visor. Although in the old Captain N, the Game Master show, in the old Captain Game Master cartoon, rather, Mega Man did have a visor, and it was lime green.
And he had to sound like this, mega high.
He and Kid Icarus, aka Pit, because really his name is not Kid Icarus, it's Pit. Kid Icarus was his title. It's like him and Pit actually suffered this one problem that most 80s cartoon characters rarely have, but they had it anyway. And they always had to put something stupid to it. Like for Mega Man, it was always Mega. For Pit, it was something like it had something to do with Icarus or something like that, or dare I say with the old Pound Puppies, Bright Eyes. Oh God, Bright Eyes. Oh, she had to be the fucking cheerleader. The sugar is sweet type of cheer. Not that I'm knocking the fact that she was really adorable. But there's a level of adorable that you can only stand for so long, and then you really start to get sick of it. Just saying. Oh, but wait. Then there's the sequel, number 4. Mega Man 2. But wait, there's more. The sequel ditches the tropics in favor of somewhere near lava. And again, his arm cannon has been replaced by a laser pistol. Also, his eyes are closed and he's 48 years old. Now, I mentioned this before. And I'm going to say this again for the sake of clarity. But look at the way this is made. Okay, first off, we have a mixture of two worlds here. I never mentioned this, and like I said, the second take is always different from the first take because it gives me a chance to actually look at how the box art is. Okay, now that we're looking at it, you ever notice that first off, Mega Man is shooting at Quickman? Okay, we can understand the shot is going towards Quickman, but it's getting past Quickman because he's basically sidestepping. Okay. Another thing is we also see Crashman or Crashman on the side. And he's protecting Dr. Wily. In which Dr. Wily looks so fucking lame. It makes no sense whatsoever as to say, go! It's like, no. This just stupid. Another thing is, why the hell is Quickman on Crashman stage? How do you know it's Crashman? Because of what you see right there behind the Mega Man 2 logo. It is his world, so I would think it's this. It should be Crashman taking on Mega Man, and it should not be Quickman taking on Mega Man right in this very spot. I mean, I would think, okay, you fire off a crash bomb. Okay, I would think right there, if you're going to do this, I would think this. If you're going to do this, going to fire a crash bomb, he should at least be firing a crash bomb at him. Like, have a motion of him just firing a crash bomb. In which he's just, instead of this, he's like, yeah, go get him! Go get him, quick man! No. I'm sorry. But, honestly, should you and Mega Man actually wear visors? Seriously. The visor thing, I'm sorry. But it reminds me of Flash Gordon and or Buck Rogers. You're making Mega Man look like Buck Rogers. I'm sorry. But even by Buck Rogers standards, I wouldn't want to see Mega Man like that. I mean, this looks more like Buck Rogers than Mega Man, okay? Just like Mega Man 1 looked more like Flash Gordon. I mean, it's just that simple. Hell, 3 Dev Adam looked much better than 3 Dev Adam. Yes, I'm saying this right now. 3 Dev Adam looked much better than this box art that I'm looking at right now. And besides, look at the way his feet are positioned. His back leg looks like it's almost gonna break. I mean, okay, you fired a gun, aka the Rockbuster, at Quickman. I can understand that. But don't you think if you do that in a sense in which you look like your foot is gonna break, I would think, okay, the first thing you would do is have secure footing. Secure footing, like, as I mentioned this before, like Ryu's Hadouken motion in Street Fighter. Like, his foot would be, like this. After the fireball has been thrown. I mean, you don't see me do it, but I'm actually doing the motion. Like, Hadouken. Like his leg is in ready stance, His leg is in horse stance, ready stance. He's going Hadouken. I mean, I would think, okay, if you're going to do that, kind of do it like that. Like you're holding the gun a cop style. Like this, Time Crisis style. And I mean, if you can't do that, at least hold your arm when you're firing, because, accuracy. Oh, Mega Man 2. Although you're a classic game, we still cannot forget the box art that has been laid upon thee. Moving on. Number 5. Yes, this is real. No, that guy is... Yes, this is real. No, that guy's name is not Carnage. Okay. Now, I understand this was done by Jalico. I understand that they were still trying to stay afloat in business before they apparently got washed with the tide. Okay, first up, let's see. We have a blurry pink car. Okay, that's understandable. Second off, we have the logo, which is Carnage Rally, in which the R is somehow signified with two checkered flags. Okay, we can get past that. The car, okay. The logo, that's fine. But what the fuck is up with this guy who is basically looked like he just came out of Arkham Asylum? Yes, this dude came out of Arkham Asylum. He looks like he got beaten up by Two-Face, and probably the Joker had something to do with that hair, and by possibly that face he made is probably after the fact that some of the Rogues Gallery from Batman had his way with him. Oh! I mean, look at that face, man. It's like, he looked like he could pass for the Joker's twin brother or something like that. He just needs some white makeup on his face. He'd be good to go. Just slap him on a very ugly suit. Yeah, you got the new Joker. Oh, and by the way, he's supposed to be happy. Moving on, number 6. Oh, why the hell is this? Why the hell is this a thing? Well, it is. Number 6. Big fun at a theme park, guys. Big fun. We are all having a blast up in the air. We're not bored at all with this roller coaster, and neither is our dog. Yeah, I remember seeing this back in the day when GameStop wasn't as big and as it is now. Back in the day, in which in some malls there was an electronics boutique, and they were two separate entities. I remember seeing this many a time I visited EB Games or Electronics Boutique, and I had to say this is the lamest box art I've ever seen, even by Will Vinton standards. This is the lamest box art I've ever seen. And if I were to basically use a PlayStation emulator and apparently download this piece of shit, I would want to hurt the very person who made this box art. I would want to scream my head off at the person who thought this box art was good. I mean, look at the father. He's like, yep, this is fun. Yep, this is fun. The mother's like, yay, woohoo. The son's like, oh boy! He almost has that Mr. Bill face, like, oh no! And then you see the dog, who might be the precursor to Gromit. It's like, woof. Like, this is the precursor to Walls and Gromit here. Young Walls and Gromit adventures. Come on, Gromit. Let's get on a roller coaster ride, Gromit. Oh, Mommy, Daddy, we're all going on a roller coaster ride. Can you join us? Why, sure, son. Let us all have fun. Yes, we shall all have fun together. Yay. Let's go to number 7, please. Peer into the smiling face of death. The monsters have nothing on Wonder Boy, the creepiest killer on Sega's Master System. Yeah, with a face like that, I'm sorry, but it's like... Excuse me, but this is not Shion. Yes, yeah, the hero of the game of the Wonder Boy series is named Shion. It is not Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy is just like Kid Icarus. It is a title. Oh, and by the way, Wonder Boy kind of took a note from Adventure Island. Their first Wonder Boy was like Adventure Island. Even more so because it had the same thing as Adventure Island was. But since we're talking about Wonder Boy Monsterland, excuse me, Wonder Boy Monsterland, you could take a look at this. It's like Wonder Boy just sent a pimp hand against his opponent, basically knocking out the sword out of his hand. And he looked like he's setting up a shield bash to basically like pin him down. Like, haha! Bash! I look at this box art and I can only say, even though I never owned a Master System in all my life, I can clearly say that this is one of those times that I would just shake my head and think, why isn't Alex Kidd not on this list? Why isn't Alex Kidd not on this list? All the all the games that ever came out on the Master System always showed up on graph paper. That's what they did. They did all this hard work on this piece of animation, this piece of, cartoony development, this cartoony graphic, as it were. And it looked like it came out of a comic book. A decent one, if not good, at best. And yet, what is there to say? What is there to say about this? I'm not saying it's bad, but come on, when you see every game, every cover on box art being put to death like it's on graph paper, you kind of want to start wondering why. Okay? Moving on. Number 8 out of 10, Barbarian 2. Video games or terrible 80s metal album? There were a bunch of Barbarian games and every one looks just like this. 2 words. Green screen! You can tell this is all freaking green screen. And you look at this, I see a comic book cover. Because if you look at how it's set up, it's like Barbarian 2. It looks just like, something you see from a comic book. The title itself looks like a comic book. Well, I don't know. Some of you might nah, this is just me. But some of you have different thoughts. I like to hear them. But as you see, number 8 looks like something out of an old 80s movie. this terrible looking green screen of a made up demon that was probably the final boss of the game. Took down, simply put, because why not? We also have these two people which I'm going to classify them as the knockoffs of Tyrese Flair and Axe Battler from the Golden Axe series. And they look like they're about ready to have one hell of a sex session, if you know what I mean. It's like, alright, we're taking down the evil beast. Now, let us pound some flesh. I'm going to ignore the fact that it's from Amiga. Still, moving on. Number 9 out of 10. Oh, yes. Remember back when the Sega Genesis had some really good sports games? And it wasn't overburdened by John Madden football? No offense to the Dodgers great, but Tommy Lasorda wasn't really a looker. They try to make him out to be, though. Even as Pontius, however, Lasorda was never as downright freaky as this watercolor photo-chopped mess. Okay, first off, you look at Tommy Lasorda in the face. They had to do something, you know? I mean, how many people... just think about it. Back then, he looked like that. Now, he has bags packed under his eyes like it's nobody's business. At least what they did for the box art, this one was respectable. Nobody don't want to see no bags packed underneath the eyes. Because he was really packing some bags underneath those eyes. Like they're about to droop any minute. But at least they made him look professional on this cover. I mean, there have been so many other games that were renamed because of their original titles. But when brought over to the Sega Genesis, I remember I owned a few. I mean, Time of the Sword Baseball was one of those games I rented. A few of the games that I owned were Pat Riley Basketball, David Robinson, and David Robinson Supreme Court. I also remember James Buster Douglas Boxing, which was somewhat better to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but respectfully, it was so much better because, you actually had two boxers facing each other and they were going left to right. And there was the ref who was, basically doing a jig the entire time as the fight was going. I can say that was respectable. But I can also say that somehow I actually miss games like these. Hell, I miss Daytona USA, and I have it on 360. I'm not kidding. I actually do miss playing Daytona USA on my Sega Saturn, even though I have my Sega Saturn right here. I just need parts for it. I could hook it up and play it again. And possibly get myself a new controller for it. And the last one, the 10 out of 10, Bust a Move 2 Arcade Edition, aka Puzzle Bobble 2. This puzzle game is so good, you'll wish you were watching A Clockwork Orange. Luckily, we can avert our gaze And as I said this before, I'm going to say it again. This is how most of us were like back in our teen years. 13, 14, 15, 16, up to 18. Within 13 to 18, those were the hardcore years of gaming. Once you pass the hardcore years of gaming, your whole view gets changed. You no longer become hardcore. You somehow turn casual. Because really, so addictive. It should be illegal. Yeah. 8 hours. All I'm gonna say is 8 hours. 8 hours you're gonna be playing this one game in which you're gonna be popping bubbles through thick and thin, all the way up to the dreaded level 99. Can you handle the awesomeness that is level 99, where you have nothing but question mark bubbles? Only you and your endless supply of bubbles can try to break through the question mark bubbles that make no goddamn sense whatsoever. With this kind of intense variety, no one can handle the derp that is level 99 in Puzzle Bobble 2. The quickening of the jumpenings. But, oh, these box, the box arts, I swear, it's just so funny. But no, I'm not stopping there. No. If we're going to do that, we're going to take this a whole step further. A whole step further, because game facts, my friends, we have game facts. And as I was showing on the first take, what had happened on the first take was Flash kind of like derped out and stopped what I was doing. But we're actually going to do this a second time because, yes, this was the first thing I was looking at. Yes, the first thing I was looking at. Because we here at Random Co-op, we have our own games that we've played, but never really saw the box art. Or even if we did, we never gave it a single thought of looking at the box art. So yes, the first one I'm going to show is Great Greed. Yes, Great Greed. I remember when Ryu told me about this, he was singing its praises like it was nobody's business. I'll admit, Great Greed was a good game. For Game Boy terms, it was probably the most animated game I've ever played. And it was done by Namco, the same people who do the Tales of series. So let's look at the images. Yes, let's look at the images. Okay. Beautiful piece of work here. This is a beautiful piece of work. Okay. Now, Great Greed is otherwise known as Vitamina Okoku. Vitamina Okoku Monogatari. Okay, we look at the English box art. The U.S. box art. Let's look at the U.S. box art. I see nothing wrong with this, do you? Sierra Sam. Yeah. Sierra Sam. This is Sierra Sam right here, people. This was the hero of the title, in which we just basically just called him whoever the hell we wanted to. But this is the hero as he is fighting a Stay Puft Mashed Potato Man. Okay, This is the English box art. This is the actual box art done in Japanese a year prior to its US release. This one makes a lot more sense than this one because it actually has the hero as it should be and all the women that actually help him along the way. This one makes better sense than this one. See, that right there, this is Vitamino Okoku Monogatari. That makes a lot much better sense than Great Greed. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the box art. The box art makes a whole lot more sense here because it has more purpose than the one you see that Great Greed has. So that's one. Let's see. The next in line. Next in line is going to be yours truly. Because this game, I swore I would take this with me to my grave. And it's the one game that I nearly rage quitted on because I actually played it on my emulator back in the day when I had my Dreamcast. In this game, I'm going to type down is this. Because I get joked about this the entire time. You see that right there? Let's look at the box art. Let's look at the box art. Okay, the English. Let's look at the English box art or the US box art. This is Legend of the Ghost Lion, otherwise known as White Lion Densetsu Pyramid no Kanata-ni. This was the October release, whereas this game prior to that was 3 years in the making. So the original came out in '89, whereas let's see, that was July 14th, 1989, compared to October 1992. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this not-so-known box art of the one game that I consider I'm taking to my grave. Ghost Lion. Okay. Okay. I'm going to read this because before I actually go into the box art, I'm just going to read this. Ghost Lion, the great role-playing game for beginners. Do you have the courage to survive in the lair of the Ghost Lion? How high are your hopes? How powerful are your dreams? How strong is your courage? You'll need them to help Maria find her parents in the cavern of the Ghost Lion. Use your magic bombs, storms, and thunder wisely against zombies, goblins, and kobolds. Kobolds, not kobold. The monster with the face of a dog. Keep your companions close. Centaur, the half-man, half-horse. Twana, spirit of the lamp. And the faithful Moha, the spirit of spear, otherwise known as Captain One Shot. It's the easiest way to get into role playing, and the only biggest supply of courage, will get you through. Will get you and Maria through. Okay, first off, you want a great role playing game for beginners? This is not it. Okay? This is not it. Ghostlight is not the game you want to give to your kid as a beginner RPG. Okay? You want to give a beginner, you want a good kind of beginner RPG? Give Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Give the kid Mystic Quest. That way, he knows about turn-based. And plus, it's just that simple. You have a jump button, so treat it like it's a platformer. So all you have to do is the monsters are not going to come to you. You just simply have to go to them. Simple as that. You want something more advanced? Play the Lufia series. That's a little bit more advanced. Because at least what it'll do, the Lufia series, the monsters won't be coming to you unless if you make a certain move. Wherever you're positioned, that's where the monsters will go. It's all about positioning in the Lufia series. I'll say, hell, you can actually fire an arrow, stun them, and then basically, there's your opening attack right there. You got him by surprise. Very easy. Very simple. But Ghostline is not, and I do mean not, a great role-playing game for beginners. Prepare for a lot of anger, a lot of rage, and a lot of drinking. Thank goodness I did not do that when I was playing this wonderful piece of shit. Now, first off, I had to rant there. Okay, first, Maria is a little girl. Who the hell here hired Ellen DeGeneres in Super Saiyan mode? And where the hell did she get a goddamn sword from? I'm serious. I am really serious. I'm looking at this art. I'm looking at this box art. She looks like she's Ellen DeGeneres in Super Saiyan mode with Mystic Gohan's sword. And it seemed like she has the Ghost Lion as a pet here. It's like she just tamed the Ghost Lion. So how does this make any sense here? I know, it doesn't make sense. But look at this. Look at this. This is what we got over here as the box art here. But if we look at the original source material, this is the original source material. This is the original source material I can accept. This is the White Lion legend, or Legend of the Ghost Lion. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This looks straight out of an anime. An anime I wouldn't mind watching. It's like, I'm pretty sure, okay, this is Maria. This is a 13-year-old girl. Okay, this is more of a 13-year-old girl than saying Ellen DeGeneres on box art. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Ellen DeGeneres, but no. No, that's not proper box art. This, of course, is Blink Girl. This is Captain One Shot. This is Sheena from the E series. This here is Twana. I know who she is, but she looks like Sheena from the E series. And look at this. This is more like this is more like what I would see. It looks more like an old anime that I wouldn't mind wanting to see on my downtime. Yeah, this is White Line Densetsu Pyramid no Kanata-ni. That is good, but that is a good box art right there, because it actually shows the actual characters you're going to actually see in the game, and not not what you see in the English box art. That doesn't make sense, right? Excuse me. Now, yes, moving down the line. Yes, moving down that line. I'm gonna move from this spot. I had to get it out. I'm serious. I had to get it out. Now, I'm moving down the line. And I have to do this because it's probably one of the most memorable LPs that I ever seen Big actually do. Keitai Denju TERRI-BAD. Like I said, I'm only going to be looking at the images. Now, of course, since they were all done, since it was done differently, it's like this. There is a very terrible, awful fan translation known as Pokemon Crystal. Or no, not Crystal. Pokemon Diamond on the Game Boy. Big Fatty Plus did a whole Let's Play of it, and it's based off the original title, which is called Keitai Denju TERRI-BAD. Now, there were two versions of it. Speed version, Power version limited, speed version limited. Because as you see, there's there's power version limited, speed version limited. These are all the games. Is somewhat similar to Pokemon. But I want you to take a look at the title screens. This is speed version. This is the title screen of the same game that Big actually did. This is awesome. This is actually awesome. That's speed version. This is power version. Now I'm telling you, and I'm being real nice about this. This is a game that was dubbed so badly that I wish there was somebody who can actually do a better fan translation of this game. Because the English was so terrible that I don't know. It's like, how can it's like this? You can mess up English as much as you want, but my God, when you get to a word that makes no sense and it makes a man just go straight up out of his godforsaken mind. That word is giffets. Giffets, yo. Giffets. Giffets would make a man go crazy. I don't see how the hell it made one man go crazy. But you say giffets, it makes a man go crazy. Me, I can say pooty doo da, and I just say, what the fuck was I just playing? Speaking of which, we're gonna look at that. We're actually gonna look at this because I will not rest until I actually see this. Pooty doo da. Pooty doo da. Pooty doo da. Or pooty doo da. What the guess they don't do arcade. You guys don't do arcade, huh? You freaking bastards. Pooly Lou Ra then? No, doesn't show. Oh well. Point is, the point is when you actually do a game when you actually do certain games the way they should be, it's a lot like false advertisement. It's like the game does not fit with, the box art. I mean, my point exactly is, yes, I actually pulled out all the games that, well, most of the games that I remember us doing. I can also say the Bard's Tale too, but I'm sure that nobody wants to remember the Bard's Tale because for some reason it made Magma WK so infamous because of opening certain types of chests. I have nothing to say about that one. But since it is fresh on my mind, the Bard's Tale. Do we have anything on the Bard's Tale, like some images? Yes. Let us look at the Bard's Tale, the English version. The one from November 1991. Okay. This is not so bad. Because you see a bard telling his tale while everybody is swilling some ale. I'm a poet, and I do know it. FCI pony double tongue. Yeah, I see where this is going. I also remember this. Let's see. And then we look at the Japanese box art, which was from December 21st, 1990. There is exactly no change except that it is quite smaller, and these have maps and symbols to them. Oh, snap. It actually looks the same. Go away. Not interested. Say go away. Not interested. It actually looks the same. The Bard's Tale, the Bard's Tale. They look the same, even though it's totally different. It is the only game that I know that actually has the same box art. It's just, it's sized different. It's sized differently. That's what it is. I don't think there's any other game I could possibly say. Wait. 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 No. 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 The notorious game that made 40 very famous because he did it drunk. Ninja Gaiden. Let's look at the images of Ninja Gaiden. The NES one. Yes. Look at the box art for this. We have 3 different versions of the box art. We have Ninja Yukenden, Ninja Gaiden, and Shadow Warriors. Let's take a look at the European version. The European version is called Shadow Warriors, otherwise known as Ninja Gaiden. This is, Ryu Hayabusa. Ryu Hayabusa. This is still Ryu Hayabusa. This is what they called it on the arcade, Game Gear, Lynx, the Master System, the TurboGrafx 16, and the Genesis. Right? And now we have the original one, which is Ninja Yukenden. Ninja Yukenden, or the Legend of the Ninja Sword. The Legend of the Dragon Sword. That's what it is. The Legend of the Dragon Sword. Because really, if you think about it, it'd be like Ninja, the Legend of the Dragon Sword. That this one makes a lot more sense compared to the one we know and love, which is Ninja Gaiden. I'm not knocking it. It's just one of these things you should know because it actually makes a whole lot more sense. Because you got Ninja Yukenden, Shadow Warriors, and of course Ninja Gaiden. yeah, I think I think that's most of I think that's most of what we have actually done here that made us so infamously famous in the RCO. Of course, the one that Sheena has done, I've already went through because she did it once, and that's Mega Man 2. I'm not gonna go into Mega Man 2 because if you know Mega Man by now, you can tell 2 is always going to be the favorite. But this is proof of concept of why the box art should be just as important as the content of the game that you're playing. Seriously, it should match the content that you're playing. Otherwise, you're in for some bad mojo if you actually seen something as terrible as The Legend of the Ghost Lion. Because I can pull out so many other names like, say, I can just say Pepsi Man, for example. I can say, let's look at the images of this. And that's the only box. This is the only box, the game box. This is the only game box I've ever seen, and yeah, this will make a man go to drink and possibly kill this motherfucker named Pepsi Man, who looks strangely like Cobra Commander on acid. Like I said, that's proof of concept. Proof of concept why you should never play a game in which it's going to invoke rage. That was proof of concept. Another proof of concept would be Deadly Towers. Now we can just look at the images on here because, like I said, I'm just looking at the images here. Deadly Towers. This is the English version. Badass, right? And then we look at the Japanese version, which is simply called Macho. I don't know. I don't see no difference. You have Macho and you have Deadly Towers. That's just like saying Legacy of the Wizard. It's like you want to see something different, like Dragon Slayer 4: The Dressel Family. This is Legacy of the Wizard. And this is Dragon Slayer 4: Dressel Family. This is more believable than actually seeing the box art of Legacy of the Wizard. Because if you look at Legacy of the Wizard, I don't know. I look at Legacy of the Wizard, I see something that should not have been. Granted, it is by far, respectively, the most hardest game on the Nintendo Entertainment System up to this day. As box art goes, I feel there should be more to it than this. But that, my friends, is for another time. That was a proof of concept of hilariously bad video game box art. Because if you remember correctly, you didn't know what you were getting until you opened the box and you slapped it into your console. So always do remember that wherever you go, or whatever game that you play, make sure you look at the box art first before you try to figure out how well the content is going to be. And before I forget, I have to do just one more just to leave you guys with. And that is, there you go. This is bullshit at its finest because it has the following: a plumber, a daddy's girl, chickens. The fuck? I can't even. Yuppies. Something I can't even read. Shower scenes, race cars, pandas. And it's an interactive comedy, which nobody actually. Yeah, it's just like it says. This is what you should really just see right there. The reviews are in. It's trash. It's brilliant. Narrators, cool. I can't stop laughing. Made me cry. My score was so low. Don't bother me. I'm still playing. Why? It plays like a movie. It plays like a game. Feels like a movie. Oh, hell no, it is not. It is the most fucked up piece of shit I've ever seen that ever came across my two eyes. And should you come across this thing upon your various journeys in life, kill it, burn it with fire, even if you need to, throw it in the paper shredder. Because it is one of those games you want to stay far, far, far away from. But I certainly hope you have gotten yourself a quick lesson in how bad video game box art was how bad video game box art was back in the day. I have been the Tenkaichi of Games and Otaku, Pookie Izzy 7, and I'm going to share this with the rest of you fine folk who have stuck with me since I don't know when, and you're going to be hearing a lot of weirdness going on in the background because it's morning here. Anyway, I shall do this, copy, and of course I will put it in the link description. I will put it in the box, bleh. I will put it in the description box below. You can take a look for yourself. And of course, leave a comment about this leave a comment about this because I want to know what you think, if you can remember what kind of bad box art you've seen, even worse than the ones I've shown you thus far. Until then, I have been you already know who I am. But I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon with more videos. Till then, take care, God bless, and of course, Tenkai Muso.